Check 1 2, Mac 1 stretch 2. I bet I got something new for y'all boys. Alright, so I'm gonna just call this What is Deku Freaking? I was gonna do Future Sight, but then I was like, dang, I might as well just do What if Deku had Haki. You feel me? Alright, so this is What if Deku had Haki. Alright, so if you don't know what Haki is basically like, you know what devil fruits do, right? They give you special powers. Alright, so Haki is like a toned down version of that kinda, but it really do the same thing. It do 3 different things. 2 of those things you can train it to make it better, but one of those things you gotta be born with it. So there's observation Haki. It's basically like you can sense or tell what somebody's finna do. There's armament, which is basically like wrapping armor, invisible armor around you, and it makes your punches stronger. And in one piece, it nullifies devil fruits. But I'ma just say it nullifies quirks in this. So, and another one is Conqueror's Haki. Conqueror's Haki, it's like it knocks you out based on your willpower. You saw what Stain did in the series. It's kind of like that, but it can knock you out. And if you use it to a high degree, people around you can die. So this is What if Deku had Haki. Roll my intro.
I swear these bitches do the most. I can't fuck with shorty, no. I've been trapping on my own, couple bands for the road. I've been on my rock star shit. Bitch, get the fuck off my dick. I just want the guap, fuck a bitch. Pull up on my rock star shit. Well, bitch, I'm on my shit, ayy. Get him jumping. He might take my life cause
Haki, there will be a video linked in the description. But let's get on with this what if. Alright, so Deku was born, right? He was quirkless. So he went to school after finding out he was quirkless. And Bakugo was showing off his quirk. He had explosions, you know. Then people was like, what's your quirk, Izuku? And Deku was like, I'm quirkless. And then Bakugo was like, oh, you're quirkless? You're useless then. You can't do anything. You have no power. You feel me? Then Deku was like, I do have power. I could beat you up. And then Bakugo was like, oh, is that a threat? You feel me? So then Bakugo stepped up to Deku and then tried to hit him with his explosions. You know, it's like a weak explosion. He just got his quirk. But then Deku weaved that bit and then whoop, right in his jaw. Just sticks him. You know, Deku ain't trained in the art of throwing hands yet. So it's a weak punch. But as a little kid, Bakugo still kinda feels it. And then Bakugo get mad and then throws another explosion at Deku. And Deku get hit by it, but it's weak, you know. And then they just keep going until the fight ends. Bakugo won. You know, I don't care how strong you are. If you don't have a quirk and you aren't proficient with the hands, you're gonna get whooped. I don't care. But yeah. So then Deku, after getting beat up, he goes home and is like, I can be strong. I will still become a hero. And then he starts working out. So then one day, he's walking with his mom and he gets lost in the store, right? And then this guy comes up to him and asks him, did he get lost? Deku said, yes, I can't find my mom. And then the guy's like, oh, you want to become a hero? And Deku like, yes. And then the guy says, what's your quirk? Deku says, I'm quirkless. And then the guy said, oh, for real, I am too. But I have power. Do you want me to teach you? And Deku's like, how are you quirkless but you still have power? You're lying. You're a liar. And the dude is like, okay, see for yourself. Come with me. Or come see me later. And I'm going to show you my power. And Deku's like, okay, where do I go and see you at? Perv? Because he thinks he's a perv. His mother tell him, don't talk to strangers. But yeah. Then the dude says, I'm not a perv, but you can see me on the beach. Right? And then he leaves. He's kinda fast. So then Deku's like, oh, that was weird. And then he finds his mother and they go home. And then Deku asks his mom, can he go to the beach? He older now. He in like the fifth grade area. He's had confrontations with Bakugo, fights and stuff. But yeah, he's in fifth grade. So then he goes to the beach alone, cause it's an anime. And then he sees the dude. I'ma just call the dude. Alter. We just call the dude Alter. So Alter is like, hey kid, I didn't actually think you'd come see me. And then Deku's like, yeah, I want to be strong. And then the dude said, okay, so what would you say if I told you that there are 3 powers you can have without having a quirk? Deku said, well, I'll say you're wrong. But then the dude says, let me demonstrate. Try to hit me with all your might. And then the dude closes his eyes. Deku's like, oh, I'm finna rock this nigga, right? So then Deku swings. And the dude dodges it. And then he's like, throw another one. And then Deku swings again. He dodges it. And then Deku just trying to hit him. And he keep dodging it. And then Deku picks up one part of the scrap metal on the ground because he's at that beach. And tries to hit the man. And he still dodges it. And Deku's like, how are you doing that? He said, I'm using one of the abilities. It's called observation Haki. Then Deku's like, observation Haki? Freak is that? Then Alter says, it's an ability that lets you see kinda in the future. And Deku's like, oh shoot, so like Night Eye ability? And then Alter says, not quite, but somewhat. Then Deku's like, that's cool, can I learn it? Then Alter says, yes, but let me show you another type of Haki. Alter then shows him his fist. And then Alter punches punches a nearby piece of metal, and it just barely moves. And Alter says, "I just hit it." Then Deku's like, "Nothing happened." So then Alter says, "I wasn't using an ability. That was just regular power. Now, let me show you armament Haki." Then he shows him his arm again, and then he hits it again, and it dents up and flies through the air. And Deku's like, "Oh my God, you're capped out. You gotta have a strength enhancing core." And then Alter says, "No, that's just armament Haki. You can learn it too." And then he says, "All right, now I'm gonna knock you out without even touching you." And then Alter uses Conqueror's Haki, and Deku's like, "I'm clearly not knocked out." And then Alter is like, "Oh, then you have Conqueror's Haki." And then Alter is like, "I don't know how I'm gonna demonstrate it to you, but I'm going to." And then Alter has an idea. He tells Deku to come to the woods. And Deku's like, "No, so you can kidnap me?" And then Alter's like, "No, so I can train you. I'm gonna train you at the beach and at the woods. Strength at the beach, conquers Haki in the woods. Armament Haki at the beach, conquers Haki in the woods, because there are animals." And then Deku's like, "Okay, whatever you say. But just know I got 911 on speed dial. You feel me?" So then few years pass after Deku has been getting taught in Haki, and this man Bakugo, on the last day of school, it's the last day of middle school, right? And Bakugo, well, not Bakugo, the teacher comes in. He says, "What do you all want to be when you graduate high school?" And then he throws the papers up. "You all want to be heroes." Does this little thing. And then Deku just chilling, and Bakugo going on his rant about how all of them is useless and side characters. And then the teacher says Bakugo has submitted an application for UA. And everyone's like, "Oh, he's trying to get into the hardest school in Japan." You feel me? And then he says, "Oh, in Izuku Midoriya, you are submitting for UA too." And then Bakugo goes like, "What? This quirkless nobody is trying to get into UA?" And then the teacher leaves. Bakugo walks over to Deku. Deku just chilling, waiting for the bell to ring so he can go home. And oh, then this man, Bakugo, throws an explosion at his desk. Deku will look at Bakugo and see what he's finna do. He moves the desk so that Bakugo miss and hits himself in the stomach on the desk, because he was going down with force. And then Bakugo was like, "Freak you do that for? But why are you trying to get in the UA, you quirkless wannabe?" And then Deku was like, "Bakugo, I would slide you if I really wanted to." Then Bakugo's like, "Oh, you want to fight, huh?" So then Bakugo would throw a swing at Deku, and then next thing he knows, he just sees black. And Deku just used Conqueror's Haki on him and just knocked him out. Then Deku gets up and he goes home. You know, so he's walking home and he takes a shortcut, and then he has his observation haki up at all times. So the sludge villain hops out and tries to attack Deku, but then Deku turns around, conquers Haki's his arm up. I mean, not conquer Haki, armor his arm up, and just sticks the sludge villain straight in the gut. And the sludge villain felt all that. The armament Haki, it nullifies quirks, so you'll feel it when it hits you. So he just get hit in the stomach, and he passes out, straight out. Deku's like, I don't have time for this, and started walking off. And then All Might slides around the corner and it says, I am here, does all that stuff. And Deku's like, oh my god, it's All Might. He's still a hero fan. And then he was like, oh, All Might, there's a villain right there. He tried to attack me. And then All Might's like, oh, you must be pretty strong if you defeated the villain. And Deku's like, yeah, I'm pretty strong. I'm going to become a hero and surpass you one day, All Might. And All Might's like, yeah, kid, you could do it. And then he walks off. All Might still drops it, but still drops the sludge villain. But Deku never grabbed onto him. So then Deku's walking home, and then he hears explosions, sees the fire, and he goes, checks it out. So then Deku walks up and asks the civilian what's going on. The civilian tells him a kid is trapped. A villain has hold of him and he's probably gonna die. And then Deku's like, why aren't the heroes doing anything? And then they're like, they all don't have quirks to be able to do anything about it. So then Deku's like, oh. And then Deku walks in. And all the heroes like, stop. And then Deku just start running. And he's running too fast for them to see. And then he just sees the sludge villain and freaking grabs him by the head and freaking looks into his eyes and uses Conqueror's Haki. And then the sludge villain just knocked out. He's asleep. And then Bakugo comes out of the sludge villain, gasping for air. And Deku's like, now who's weak? Bakugo. Then he walks off. And this makes Bakugo mad, and he's like, you're still useless. Just because you saved me doesn't mean anything. I didn't need your help, all that stuff. And then everybody's praising Bakugo about his quirk, and they're telling Deku that was dangerous. He could have got himself hurt or killed. And then Deku just nonchalantly saying, yep, I understand, doing all that stuff. And then he goes home. And his mother's like, where have you been all day? You're late. And he was like, oh, I just had to take care of something. I'm sorry, stuff like that. And then he trains for 10 months on his own. And I'm going to have him unlock it early. He's going to get future sight early. He can see further in the future with his observation haki than normal. So like he can see the outcome of what he does. So then Deku walks over and he's at the walking in the UA and he trips But he 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 sees that Uraraka's hand coming towards him. So instead of getting slapped by, he grabs her hand. He still floats though, but he's not surprised. And she's like, how did you grab my hand? You were falling." Then Deku said, "Oh, it's just my quirk. And I could see everything around me, and I can kind of tell the future." He wasn't using future sense; he was using regular observation. But yeah, or else he would have been able to see the what he tripped on. So then they walk in, they do the theory portion of the test, and he aces it. He's pretty smart, gets a good grade on it. Then we come to the practical exam. President Mike just explaining. Deku's not really listening, but then he hears about the robots, the 0 pointer, and all the essentials. He's not really listening to anything else. And then Ida catches this, and then he's just talking about you should be more respectful and listen to the hero. And Deku's not listening to Ida at all. He really doesn't even pay any attention to him. And then they walk, and he was finna go over to get in position, and Ida thought he was finna go talk to Uraraka. So then he was like, he says, "Let her focus." And then Deku's like, "What are you talking about?" And then Ida's like, "The girl that you were just finna talk to, let her focus on the exam." And then Deku was like, "I'm finna go get in position, you dummy. Oh, why you thinking I'm finna go talk to her? You must have a crush on her or something." And then Ida's like, "No, I just think you should." And then Deku's like, "Yeah, whatever," and walks off. Ida's mad now. So then the gates start to open up, and Deku just gets in position. And then as soon as they're open fully, everyone starts running. But Deku's nowhere to be found. He's already in there destroying robots, one after another. He just armamented up, and he's just punching one, kicking him, just going absolutely ham. He's just destroying robots as far as the eye can see. And then he's just destroying more robots. And then he hears screaming, and it's Uraraka. Oh yeah, I forgot. He didn't take one for all. He wanted to be the first quirkless hero, so he didn't take one for all. So he hears Uraraka screaming, and then he goes to save her, because he still has the hero mentality. And he grabs the rubble off of her, and then gets her out of there. And she's like, "Thank you for helping me," because she don't have that raw power, that just raw power to take down the 0 pointer. But you know, he there's little time to collect robots. He let Uraraka go get her robots, and then he starts leaving. The exam ends. He goes home. Then he gets his score, and All Might himself congratulates Deku and says he got first place in the entrance exam. Alright, and that's where I'm gonna leave this part off. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe. You know, share the video, join the Discord. all those things. And oh, something I didn't mention, 80 something percent of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. I mean, it's free. Come on now. All you have to do is take 5 seconds to hit the subscribe button. That's all you got to do. But yeah.